What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/StoriesAboutKevin. This story's called How My Neighbor's Stubbornness Destroyed My Apartment. Hi everyone! For those interested, I have posted more stories about my neighbors on r/entitled people, because they were stories dealing with their entitlements and thought they would fit better there. But this story fits better here. This story is about Kavina, an old, stubborn, senile, and lazy woman who believes she's entitled to certain privileges because she lived in the building the longest. In order for you to understand how the building looks like, me and Kavina have a jointed sunroom that is basically our back entrance. It's important to remember that the sunroom is not insulated, meaning the sunroom is not heated nor does it retain heat. In the building, we also have a basement which has several individually locked rooms that serve as storage rooms for each occupant, in which you can also plug your washer and dryer. Strangely enough, I am the only one who uses this storage room in the entire building. The basement is insulated and heated. Also important to remember, we live in a cold part of Canada, where we can see temperatures of -40 degrees Celsius during the winter. So Kavina purchased recently a new set of modern clothes washer and dryer with computers in them. For those who don't know, most household computerized systems don't work in temperatures below -20 degrees Celsius, and cold temperatures can severely damage computers if they are working in cold environments. Kavina learned that the hard way. She told me that during the first winter she had her appliances, she had to pay $300 to replace the computers. Kavina has several health issues, but the most important ones to the story are the ones that give her the hardest time to just walk around, and worst of it, climbing down the stairs. Kavina and I live on the second floor. When she purchased her washer and dryer, she had some of the landlord's workers help her install it. They offered Kavina to install it in the basement in her storage room, where it would be in a room temperature environment, to which she declined because of her health issues. For those who don't know, most mechanical, not computerized, washer or dryers can work in environments down to -80 degrees Celsius without any issue. It's also proven that mechanical machinery lasts longer, but the computerized ones are more user-friendly and most of the time offer more options. What I'm trying to say is that if she wanted to have her appliances in an unheated sunroom, she should have gotten a mechanical washer and dryer. Now this is where the story begins. Sorry for the long intro. To prevent cold damage to her appliances in the sunroom, she had to spend thousands of dollars carpeting the floor, putting plastic on windows, blankets on top of the machines, and placing electric heaters. She also had to block the sunroom's entrance with what I can only describe as a door snake. Also, because the door's snake was there during the winter, we were forced to always use the front entrance unless we wanted to be grunted at from beyond our walls by Kavina. The next part will anger everyone who is actively contributing to the environment. You are warned. This wasn't enough to heat the washer and dryer. She needed to have both the washer and the dryer constantly working, wasting countless amounts of hot water. I swear, we saw Kavina going up at 2 a.m. just to start her appliances with no clothes in them. At least, the appliances were surprisingly silent. One day, I moved the door's serpent and got caught doing so. Kavina yelled at me saying if I don't cooperate, I would have to share her electricity bill of $500 per month. Mine is $50 per month and I live in the same building. We are neighbors. I told her to get lost and that I won't pay a dime for her lack of common sense. She called the landlord because I was rude to her, and the landlord directly said, "He's right." "He's right, but I can send you some of my men to move your appliances to the heated storage room." She declined once again. But wait, it gets worse. I learned one day when I came across Kevina in the sunroom looking at her electric box that she was redirecting so much power to the unheated sunroom that she was forced to live pitch black in her apartment, otherwise it would jump the breakers. She couldn't have more than one appliance in her house working. So the huge electricity bill was just to heat the sunroom. She couldn't even have a constantly functioning fridge without jumping the breakers. By her stubbornness, during the winter, Kevina was forced to have no lights, no heat, only one kitchen appliance working, no TV, and no internet. I had a hard time not laughing about this. The landlord called because she complained about her situation. She asked me to take Kevina's dryer and washer to the basement. Kevina went berserk and threatened me if I would take her appliances way to the basement. I left them there. But wait, it gets even worse. Remember that she was using hot water for washer during winter and was constantly running it non-stop? Well, there's a thing with metal plumbing that if it gets from one extreme temperature to the other constantly, metal tends to weaken more and more to the point of cracking and just straight breaking. This is exactly what happened. The water for her washing machine just went everywhere inside the wall, causing huge moisture issues inside the building. The entire east wall of the entire building, inside and outside, had to be taken down and reconstructed. It took an entire month and 10 people working 10 hours a day on it. Good thing I live on the west side of the building. The workers also have found rodents nesting inside the walls, so the landlord had to call an exterminator. She sent the bill to Kevina, to which she refused to pay. They're taking this affair to court in a month. Okay, how absolutely stubborn and ridiculous do you have to be to live like that? Like $500 is some people's entire paycheck, and she's spending the entire thing on just the electricity. That's just insanely wasteful, and holy crap, she should not be living on her own. This story's called Conspiracy Kevin, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb Pony. I had a friend many years ago who has sadly passed away, who may have been a Kevin or simply the most irrationally paranoid person who ever walked the earth. As you read on, keep in mind that Kevin was a dear, sweet person with a high school diploma and some college credits who held down steady employment and paid his own rent. He was, in other words, a fully functioning biped with no known mental illnesses. Much of what follows stemmed from a combination of truly endearing gullibility and a complete lack of understanding of the world, coupled with an ironclad conviction that he, and only he, knew exactly how the world worked. Number 1. Kevin's period. Kevin read on the internet about a method involving yoga that would allow a person to either stop having menstrual periods completely or choose when to have them. Kevin immediately started practicing this method, which involved massaging one's crotch with one's heel while chanting, because I want to have more control over my body. He was a 26-year-old man. To this day, I have no idea what he thought a menstrual period actually was. 2. Kevin versus the Red Chinese. Kevin and I were roommates for a while. We lived in a large, run-down house with several other roommates. Kevin once woke the entire house up at 5 a.m. by banging on everyone's doors and screaming at us, "Get in the basement! The Red Chinese are bombing!" Our small rural town in the middle of Wisconsin. We found him in the cellar, braced in a doorway, wearing nothing but combat boots. You may ask, did he have a nightmare? What caused this panic? Apparently, he heard a banging noise and immediately jumped to the logical conclusion that it was caused by commie bombs. The actual source of the noise? A loose screen door banging in the wind. 3. Reading isn't fundamental. Kevin didn't understand how reading worked. When I first met him, I was impressed by his vast collection of books on everything from history and political theory to sci-fi and art. I'm a big reader, so of course I asked him what he thought of a particular book he had on his shelf, which I had recently read.
Oh, I haven't read that.
Oh, cool. I buy a lot of books too, and sometimes it takes me a while to read them. What are you reading right now?
Nothing. I don't actually read books.
Then what?
I don't need to read them. If they're around me, then I have the knowledge. Reading them would just be a waste of time.
4. Kevin makes a phone call. Kevin liked to call me at weird hours of the night to holler about his latest conspiracy theory. One night at about 3 a.m., my then boyfriend was staying over when Kevin called. I was in the bathroom, so boyfriend answered and decided to be a troll.
Who is this? Is OP there?
Boyfriend screams in an angry, obviously fake Scottish accent.
Listen, man, I don't know who OP is, but you better have our money by midnight tomorrow or the goddamn dog gets it. Ah!
5 seconds later, the phone rings and I answer it. It's Kevin. Hello?
Oh my god, I think I just called a terrorist cell.
Which number did you dial?
Yours! You gotta get out of your house! There's a terrorist answering your phone!
Oh, that was just boyfriend. He was messing with you. Despite my reassurances that there was, in fact, no Scottish dog-napping terrorist in my home or life, Kevin refused to believe that we were not all in mortal danger. He believed this for literal years afterward and would always check out my basement and closets when he came over just to make sure. 5. Kevin calls the bomb squad, or the bomb pony rides again. Kevin came home from work one day and found one of those carnival prize stuffed ponies on his back porch. It was about 4 feet tall and bright pink. Kevin drew the very logical conclusion that it contained an explosive device and called the bomb squad. Then he called me. I arrived to find a bunch of cops at his place, who were all irritated at the nuisance call, but also laughing their asses off at Kevin, who was refusing to go near the stuffed pony and demanding that the FBI be brought in to investigate. I took that pony, strapped it to the roof of my car, and drove around with it until it disintegrated. Took about 2 months. Kevin refused to ride in my car during that entire time. 6. Corn is scary. Kevin and I were in his kitchen one evening trying to figure out what to have for dinner. I took a can of corn out of his cabinet and handed it to him. Here, I said, hold on to this for a minute. Kevin shrieked, flung the can across the room, and fled. He locked himself in the bathroom and wouldn't come out for an hour. The corn was perfectly fine. I ate it. It was fine. 7. P is for potty. That's good enough for Kevin. Kevin read on the internet that drinking your own urine had health benefits. He drank his own urine first thing every morning against his doctor's advice for years because screw what my doctor says. They're all a bunch of pharmaceutical shills anyway. My body knows what I need. 8. Kevin outwits the trouser industrial complex. Kevin refused to carry change. He refused to accept coins from cashiers, which caused him to lose a lot of money over the years. That change adds up. He drove a cab for a while and would absolutely refuse to allow a customer to hand him any sort of coin. He would cut a $6.50 fare to $6 and I quote, "Coins are just a plot cooked up between the US Mint and the trouser industrial complex. See, if we carry a bunch of coins around, our pockets wear out faster and we have to buy more pants." 9. Kevin prepares for the apocalypse. Kevin was completely certain that we were living in the end of days. He kept a go bag ready at all times, which contained the following: a bottle of water, some granola bars, a pack of cigarettes, a lighter, and some random gold jewelry that he figured he could use to barter for food when society inevitably collapsed. The only thing missing? A gas mask, of course! So, Kevin went to the local army surplus store and got himself a gas mask. It was too small. Kevin strapped it on and couldn't get it off. In fact, Kevin was in danger of suffocating until he was able to grab some scissors and slice a hole through the bottom edge of the mask. Then he called me to come over and help him get it off. I ended up having to cut the straps and some of his hair because he was so helplessly entangled in the thing, and he had somehow jammed the clasps in such a way that they wouldn't release as designed. Kevin took that sliced up gas mask and stashed it in his go bag, apparently satisfied that it would keep him safe in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. 10. Kevin the Flirt. Kevin was incredibly handsome. He was blessed with abundant dark hair, brooding eyes, and a killer smile. Imagine a young Tom Cruise if young Tom Cruise had been a punk. He had no lack of female admirers. However, Kevin's idea of flirting was unconventional. His favorite come-on was to find a flower, carry it into the presence of his current crush, and slowly, sensuously nibble the blossom, while making intense eye contact with his lady love. I once watched him consume an entire daisy, stem included, while gazing longingly across the room at some poor woman who had no idea what to do about this weirdness. Rest in peace, Kevin. You were too weird for this world. Update. Wow, this blew up. I want to share Kevin's finest moment here, since I think he'd be pleased to know how much love he's getting from internet strangers. Though he'd probably be convinced that many, if not all of you, are working for a shadowy government organization. During the 2000 US presidential elections, Kevin was a big Ralph Nader fan. He learned that Nader was holding an election rally in Chicago, and some of his favorite 1990s alt culture people would be there. Eddie Vedder, Jello Biafra, and Michael Moore. Kevin didn't want to have to deal with the ticketing process, so he called Nader's campaign people and convinced them that he was an up-and-coming author, working on a book called The Screw You Generation: American Politics and the Damning of Generation X. He listed me as his co-author. Somehow, this worked. We were granted press passes and front row seats to the rally. A grand time was had by all. I'm curious as to how he passed away. I hope it wasn't related to his Kevinicity, but I enjoyed these stories. They were relatively innocent, and it was just a dude who was kind of dumb, and that's okay. That's okay, as long as he didn't hurt people, which he didn't seem to do. Just a very strange guy who enjoyed drinking his own urine. Alright, this story's called Kevin Made Alcohol Freeze. Let me set the stage. 9th grade graduation party, and we planned to hang out with the entire class at a guy's summer house to celebrate the beginning of high school. Everyone agreed that there will be no alcohol, since we all knew crap wouldn't end well. Anyway, our Kevin is a small, dog-like, hyperactive dude with the IQ of a 2nd grader. Although he didn't bring any booze himself, he found a vodka bottle in the freezer. He told the group that he would make tea, but instead, he went on and, in the span of 2 hours, drank the entire thing. He understood that the now empty bottle looked suspicious. So how did he solve this? Mother Lover went,
"Oh, I'll replace the alcohol with water and put it back in the freezer. Yeah, that'll work."
Fast forward 12 hours and the parents of the party host find ice instead of vodka. Magic. I'm not sure if that's really a Kevin moment, because that's more just like a panic response to a scary situation, because if I was in danger of getting caught with drinking an entire bottle of vodka that wasn't even mine, I'd probably do similar. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.